Well, our Benedict Pavio has been listening to that speech with me from London. She joins me now from there. Benedict, Boris Johnson repeating several times for what he called this controlled immigration, saying it's a safe and legal route for migrants, a safe and legal route, again and again, really trying to hammer that point home at least.
Yes, and he talked about the United Kingdom being a beacon of openness and compassion. He also talked about Rwanda being one of the safest countries in the world. I think that won't sit well with quite a lot of human rights watchers and defenders. Indeed, the UK itself was asking questions about Rwanda's human rights records only months ago at the United Nations. But let's concentrate, you're quite right, and focus down on this new, innovating, as the Prime Minister Boris Johnson just called it, approach that he says is needed because he says that this illegal immigration, and he's referring particularly to the thousands of people throwing themselves on very unseaworthy dinghies, hardly seaworthy boats, trying to make it across from the French northern coast to the southern English coast and seek asylum here. He says that this new migration partnership with Rwanda is absolutely necessary. 600 people made it to British shores yesterday. Over 29,000 people came across from France, across that channel where 27 people, let's remember, and we covered it, of course, here on France 24, on France 24, where before Christmas, 27 people lost their lives. He talks, interestingly, about the fact that there will be new surveillance, drones, and helicopters, that there will be new money that will be put towards this, £50,000 of new money towards this funding, that the Navy, so the British military, will now be in control of the channel. He talked about the cooperation with France, said that there are ongoing discussions with that, but that he said the UK can't wait for a deal to be struck with France in order to have some sort of return policy of these asylum seekers. And we know that both the opposition party, and let's point out that Parliament is in recess for the Easter break right now, and refugee organisations have criticised these plans, even before the detail has come out and before Boris Johnson's speech, as being cruel, and they are urging a complete rethink.
Indeed. And it's interesting, too. I mean, this is a deal that costs an incredible amount of money, £120 million. It's about almost $160 million, which is uncapped, if I heard correctly what he just said, the Prime Minister, a moment ago. I guess the big question is why is this deal being struck with Rwanda?
Well, I think it is very clearly, I haven't mentioned the word yet, let's put it out there, Brexit. It's about taking back control of borders. And what Boris Johnson has hammered home here, both in the content and in the form, from the beginning through the middle to the end of that speech, is he says there is a complete difference between legal migration and illegal migration, unsafe. And he talked about, again and again, about breaking the business model of the people smugglers in northern France. Why Rwanda? Well, that's over 4,000 miles away. So it is very clearly a message to the people smugglers and indeed to the people paying thousands of dollars, pounds, euros, and risking their lives across that channel to say, don't do it, because you could very well be sent on a plane either back to your country of origin or 4,000 or more miles away to Rwanda. The uncapped bit that I heard, Jeannie, was about the fact that one British reporter was talking about 100 people being able to be accommodated in a building that he had visited today, where the Home Secretary, Priti Patel, arrived late last night and has been looking, as well as looking at that building and meeting the authorities there and signing that deal between the UK and Rwanda. Well, 100 people is simply not going to deal with the thousands and thousands of illegal asylum seekers that are arriving throughout the weeks and months. And this is a problem. So it's breaking that business model, dissuading people, and dissuading and breaking that business model with the people smugglers in not just northern France. We know they're in Belgium, in Holland, etc.
All right, Benedict, thanks for that. Benedict Pavio there reporting for us from London on that controversial multi-million-dollar deal that's been signed between Rwanda and the UK to outsource those asylum seekers coming into Britain over to Africa.